Hi, welcome back to another installment of the Talented Learning Executive Briefing Series. I'm John Lay, CEO and lead analyst of Talented Learning, and this is my favorite series of content because I get to travel around the world virtually and learn about the best and the most innovative learning systems and e-learning systems and edtech systems that are available in the world. Today is no different. I'm here with Amber Winter, Executive Vice President of Web Courseworks, to learn all about the CourseStage LMS and what they can do as a solution inside the professional development community. Amber, it's all yours. Take it away.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to present Web Courseworks and CourseStage Learning Management System today and talk about where we fit and what we do in the space.
Outstanding. Tell us all about it.
All right. So to start, I'll just cover today about Web Courseworks, some of our mission, our history, who we work with. I'll go into a demo and we'll answer questions along the way. So who is Web Courseworks and what is CourseStage Learning Management System? Web Courseworks is a national education company. We are headquartered in Madison, Wisconsin, and we do all of our business in the United States. So we use all US-based resources, our support team, developers, etc. We pride ourselves on that and the support that we provide to our customers. As a company, we also have a culture of lifelong learning. Our CEO has a PhD in adult learning theory. Our organization has really developed from that emphasis on lifelong learning, and we make it a goal of each employee that works at Web Courseworks to focus on their own professional development as well. So not only do we kind of practice what we preach, but we really want to help our customers or partners thrive in the professional education space as well. I might have said it already, but who we work with is really professional education organizations. What that means to us is any organization that's offering external education, training programs to people who aren't their employees, that they don't really have control over, but these users are coming to them to get expertise in their area. A lot of that falls into the association space. Nonprofits provide a lot of professional education, but there's also additional training companies that are providing professional education to general industry and subject matter that they're experts in.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah, so our mission, you can see at the bottom, is just to really enable education transformation and to partner to build education businesses. I'm going to go on to the next slide where I kind of showcase some of our customers and who's decided to partner with us as an organization. And this is where I just like to talk about that partnership and what it means to us. You know, we're not trying to capture every single association. We can't be everything to everybody. We really differentiate on working with our customers as a partner and making sure that they know that this system is going to really evolve their education that they offer. We don't want to just be used for webinars. That is not a good use of our platform. We want to be working with associations that are going to be at the front of the field with education. They know that they have to offer different types of education products and programs, and they are committed to that being successful by setting goals for their education department, breaking down those silos between conference teams and digital education teams, and really working together with us to map out every single system they have now so that we can put all of that education under one tech stack. And that's what some of these organizations have been really successful in doing when they come to work with us. And it's our mission to help them do so by using our technology to enable that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great. So tell us a story or two.
Yeah, so there's lots. One of the most recent stories, the American Society of Hematology, over the last about year, we've been working with them. They had 3 different learning management systems when they came to us. 2 of them were custom home-built systems. And as you know, those are really hard to move away from because they're built specifically to their needs. So we consolidated all of that into our platform, along with integrating with about 4 different other systems to have a seamless user experience. And just to kind of bringing it all together, we're continuing to add more products and programs at their organization. But we launched late last year. They ran about 2,000 poster sessions through our system for their annual conference at the end of the year, and plan to continue to evolve how they use the LMS. One big way that the hematology group is using the system is for a self-assessment program, and that's a pretty advanced product for a medical association to offer. It's also a really good product offering for generating revenue for associations. So any group that needs, some pretty robust assessment functionality for their products, would be in a good place with Web Courseworks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just quickly for all of us, could you define what you mean by self-assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. So a self-assessment program or product, usually how we see it will be a series of questions that's kind of productized. So maybe it's 200 questions around a certain topic, where the user can generate what those self-assessments are based on. So whether they're studying for a credentialing exam, or your association offers a specific exam that you're doing a prep product for, a self-assessment will give the user, a range of questions, and they can answer individual questions right away and get feedback right away. So they're seeing right away how they're improving, if that's something they need to focus on. At the end of the self-assessment, the reporting is really important. So they're seeing, hey, these are your gaps in your learning. You should really focus your studying on X, Y, and Z based on how you performed on this self-assessment.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So the self-assessment then, or each piece is then connected to content that they can find their own path through then.
Exactly. Yep. And it really just helps them build that personalized learning journey based on what they need to know. So not, I need to consume all of this content, but these are the skill gaps that I have. I need to focus my attention in these areas.
Wow, cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. So we have about 65 customers right now, and obviously are continuing to grow. But what we're looking for, again, is that education ecosystem. So people who are really trying to bring everything together in one place.
Mm-hmm. Well, it should have been a good year for you then, huh? With all the changes in the marketplace and professional associations in general.
Yes, it was great to see, obviously unfortunate, but good to see some silos being broken down at associations. We got to work with a whole new type of customer base, even within our current customers. So seeing the product through the perspective of a conference planner, they're looking at different things. They want to see live chat and polling, synchronous video experiences. So a lot of features and functionality that pushed the edge of our product and innovation in the last year, and I'm sure for other vendors as well, continuing to push us forward to serve the customers that we serve. Cool. All right. So why do customers choose Web Courseworks and CourseStage? I talked about the first one. A lot of times when we're, down to 2 vendors in a selection process, it really comes down to having the ability to meet your goals efficiently and being able to scale those as well, and just our experience and understanding of the work that you do. You're going to have a huge feature list that a lot of vendors will be able to check off, things like mobile responsiveness and rate labeling, but it's going to come down to that understanding and the working relationship that you have with the vendor that you select to make sure that it's a partnership and that you guys are on the same page with the goals that you're setting. So we spend a lot of time talking about that. I know that John Lay, as a selection consultant, also focuses on that, just really understanding what your education goals are. What do you want to do with your tech stack for education? What systems are key to integrate with? And making sure that the vendor that you're working with really has an understanding and proves to you that they understand those things. And I think that's something we do really well, or try to do as well as we can with the information we're given.
So how do you get at that information, Amber? Is that through just the regular sales process, just the typical way that you engage, or is there a special way to get at all that?
I think it's asking the hard questions. you know, it's easy to go through a sales process and not ask the questions and just try to kind of slide on by. But if you can ask the hard questions, and you know, the answer might be, we don't know. And that's the hardest part, is if there is no strategy yet. Well, maybe that group's not ready to make a technology decision then, and we've got to think about some more strategy consulting up front. But yeah, I think it's, you know, we really try to ask the right questions to make sure that our technology is going to be a good fit and our organization will be a good fit, because there's a lot of platforms out there. There's a lot of products that you could select from. So you want to make sure you're making a good decision.
Okay.
So some of the things just on this slide that we like to talk through is really scaling your education business. You know, most of our customers have a 1 to 2 man education team that is running the system and building out products. So it's not like you have, you know, a team of 20 that can manage the system and what you're doing. So we need to be building processes that are efficient and scalable, especially as you're offering accreditation programs. PARS reporting, things like that can get really administrative heavy. So make sure that you're looking at technology, and we make sure that our system is offering some streamlined tools to help you do your jobs so that you can get more users, more programs up onto the site. That's really the end goal for both of us.
Okay.
And then that last bullet point, just that's really important, is for us, at least as an organization, is talking through the different types of education products that an association offers. A lot of times there will be a journal that's over here running on a whole different platform, a different purchasing process. Maybe then there's a virtual conference on this system. You know, they might have a series of videos in an on-demand library with another system. So we really want to kind of capture all of that and make sure that even if you're not ready to move everything at once, you really think holistically about the education that you offer, from the blogs, the podcasts, to the formal education courses that you're producing, and getting that all into a catalog that's in one place, so that when people are trying to purchase education from you or just discover what type of education they offer, that you offer, they can see that holistically. And that's how our product's been driven over the last couple of years, is really emphasizing that this is an ecosystem of education. We don't expect that our customers are just offering webinars and on-demand courses. We expect that they want to bring everything under one catalog, and that we need to be integrated to support that, but also have the flexibility in our system to offer those type of education experiences as well.
When you were talking about silos before, for these different educational products, historically, would they be under different ownership, different budgets, different teams and associations, and that those are the silos that you're referring to? Or?
Yes, yeah, we've definitely seen that. Sometimes it's separated by like accredited education and non-accredited, and sometimes it's very much in person versus online. Whereas everything has to be online now. You know, the formal education itself might not have to be, but the exploration, the finding of that content, the signing up, even if you're going back to offering classroom courses and in-person conferences as a part of your education strategy, those have to be worked into your digital education as well.
I see. Okay.
All right. Okay, our future direction. The thing that we're working on right now and through the end of the year that's really important to us is looking at our product and how learners can start creating their own personalized education plan. We've seen a lot of associations moving towards personalized learning paths, recommended content, but that's very much like company driven, right? Where you're telling them what they should take. And we've also seen the need for learners themselves to create their own education plans and paths. So this is something that we're working with our customers on to define and create a tool in our system that's really based on that taxonomy that we've been talking about of your education products and enabling the learner to create that journey themselves. That gets them more invested in that education and also kind of shows you what they need without you having to kind of make up what you think they need as well based on what you know about them. So I'm very excited about that. Other things that I'll show you today that we're going to continue to enhance are really just e-commerce enablement features. So, we've seen a big move towards subscription-based products like Netflix offers. And then kind of now we're moving a little bit away from that and offering, micro learning where everything's just one little tiny bits and pieces and people can build their own products. So there has to be a lot of flexibility in e-commerce when you're looking at a learning ecosystem because not every learner is going to be the same, especially when you think about the different types of learners we serve. So scientists versus doctors versus realtors. They have different days and lifestyles that they're trying to work this education into. So our association customers will know their learners the best, and we just have to offer flexibility in our platform so that whatever model they want to go after, they can. Another part of that being allowing for like A/B testing and the data to see how do you sell education and what's working, what's not. This is often missed in the selection process. It's kind of touched on and people look at it but they don't dive into, well, what are our pricing groups? How do we, provide incentives to learners? How do we upsell and cross-sell products that we're offering? I haven't seen a lot of strategy behind it, but I'm hoping that, this is the year that we start thinking strategically about how we sell education and just enable more education through the e-commerce systems that we offer.
Great.
All right, so specialized program support. These are those specific programs that associations have that come up, like the self-assessment program. And this is just really having the ability to extend that learning enterprise from simply providing webinars and blogs and podcasts to, full-blown certification programs, multi-module courses. Another example being like specialized portals for resident education programs that you might, sell to different hospitals. Really thinking creatively about how you use the content you have and what audiences you might be able to serve with it. So this gets associations thinking more like corporations, getting outside of the box of just members and non-members and thinking about new products and programs that they can use to extend that enterprise.
Okay.
And then the last big thing that we've been working on and continue to hone in on is all of the data coming through your LMS. We've definitely dabbled in XAPI. We have the support in our platform for collecting data and sending to an LRS. But we found a lot more actionable tools in things like Tableau and Power BI, just things that everyday people can use without having to hire 10 data analysts to really understand what's going on in your system. So we're trying to enable those data toolkits so that people can make decisions and use the data in an actionable way without having to really support a data enterprise. And that's something that I think is going to be even more important as we bring in additional programs, additional stakeholders into using our platform.
And is it your intention to find data sets that you automatically will pump out to these tools that they would combine with other data, or grab some of that data from there and bring it into your tool?
Yeah, so what we've done to date is we have just some out-of-the-box data reporting sets that if the association uses Power BI, they can just utilize right out of the box. Same with Tableau. So what we're trying to do is kind of define what the most standard data visualizations are that people benefit from and offer some out-of-the-box toolkits, and then allow them to customize with the specific data they have from there. This is going to rely on data from your association management system, from your CRM, from your website. It's going to rely on data from a lot of different sources. So while we own the LMS and education data, we also want to be thought leaders in how you can use that with the other data that you have at your disposal.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I'm going to get into the live demo and just kind of give you a view of CourseStage.
Let's see where all this magic happens.
Right. So I'm starting from a user experience just to kind of guide you through what that looks like, what some of the flexibility is for organizations. So when you first log into the site, of course, there's all of these integrations that happen to get you here seamlessly. You don't usually just log into our platform. But when you do, you'll land onto this dashboard, and what we like to focus on in the dashboard is what's most important to your learners right away. This area here that you see, the course overview block, this is going to show me my most recent courses that I have access to as a learner. So this is personalized to me. I can sort and filter these courses. I can star courses. I can remove them if I don't want to see them anymore. And I also get a view of my progress. So how far am I along in this course? What's my completion status? Our customers can also customize this view to show things like dates. So some of our customers, have specific dates that things are due on. If you have a ton of live webinars, you might want dates to be shown on the dashboard as well. So that's all configured for each customer that we work with. On the right-hand side here, there's a couple other widgets that are really important to me as a user. So the calendar tool, this is going to show me anything that's due in the courses that I have access to. So I specifically have some, start and end time, some discussion posts that are due, and those will populate here in my personalized calendar as a user. Organizations can also add site-wide events to this calendar, so things like their annual conference, workshops coming up, anything that the marketing team wants to promote can be added to the calendar and show up for all users in the system. It will have a different color background, and then it can link to that catalog product. So again, a way to drive that engagement and revenue into your catalog so that people are continuing to see and have visibility into what you offer. We'll go to the catalog in a second, but before that, I have recommendations here as well. This is just the start of that personalized learner journey. These are being recommended to me based on information in my profile via the integration with your member system, whether it's an AMS or a CRM. We can pull data from them, such as their geographic location, so that you can promote products geographically, or potentially their credentialing license. So you know that if they're a physician, you should show them courses that offer CME, for example. So those recommendations are personalized to the user. Again, this is just the first step of personalizing that experience. And what we really want to do is make that pretty learner-driven as well, so that they have control of what those personalizations look like and can build out a whole learning path in the system.
Mm-hmm.
So other things on the dashboard, just kind of some navigation functions where our customers are generally, linking back out to their website, other tools that they offer. The transcript's really important for the user to see what they've taken in your system, what credit they've earned. We'll go to that after we actually go through a course. And then my profile, notifications, and messages in the system as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm just going to jump to the catalog. This is a feature that I've talked a bit about as far as just e-commerce in general, and thinking through how you're going to present all of this content to your users. This is just kind of a demo catalog. Each of the catalogs that we design for our customers are customized for them. So you're not, in our system, you're not limited to one kind of look and feel. A lot of times we work through that kind of user workflow. What do you want that experience to look like? Do you want high-level categories first and then a page of your 500 courses in that category? What makes the most sense based on your learners and what that journey is for them? So just to kind of demo to you what is generally useful for organizations is seeing the ability to filter and sort the catalog on different arenas. So if, for example, your learners really care about what credit type that the education, that they're just coming to you for that value of credits. Let them sort by that so that it makes it as quick and easy as possible for them to get the course that they're looking for. So just kind of thinking through those ideas. Format can be really helpful. You know, some users are just really want to sign up for all of your webinars, so let them sort by the type of format of education you offer. And then there's other things like price. You know, we have customers that have 20 different sort and filter options. And I think putting some time into the thought of your taxonomy, how you tag content, how you let users search and sort by it is really important to that, developing that revenue strategy in your e-commerce model. But from there, then you can kind of just see high-level course information. You can obviously promote things with some, like a carousel, but you know, there's different ways that you can present what type of education you offer. Once I, you know, select a product that I want to take, then I can just see some more details. The benefit of this catalog is that I don't have to be logged in to see all this information. So this is all also indexed by Google. So it will show up in search results. Everything that you add to these pages will be indexed as well. So it will help your SEO, and also obviously be a place for users that can browse and see what you offer before they sign up to either be a member or purchase education from you. So this is, again, an important component to that education program, is to think through the marketing side of your courses and products, and how you price them, how you group them, you know, the actual descriptions, etc.
Great.
Okay. So going into now an actual experience in a course, I'm just going to go back to my dashboard and show you, you know, this course that I've taken, but we'll start from the beginning. So, you know, a lot of the education experience in a learning management system is based on the content that you put into that course. So content is king. We still say that, and it's true. If you know, you have great marketing and you get people in to take one course, but the content isn't great, you're not adding value for them, they're not likely to go back to that catalog and keep consuming education from you. So you still want to really put an emphasis on that content that you offer. What our system allows you to do is create courses with any type of content. So that's what I'm going to show in this course layout, is really just showing that you know, a course could be a journal article, it could be an interactive SCORM presentation, it could be a discussion community, etc. So there's a lot of different ways to build a quote-unquote course or education product, but it doesn't have to be so formal as, you know, a certification plan. And it can be just as informal as a discussion where people are joining a community to talk back and forth around a specific education content type. Mm-hmm. So generally, the first kind of page of a course will just be overview information. And then as we move through the content pieces, you can see the examples of types of content. A lot of associations have journals, and that's still a great way to offer education. So put it in your LMS, tie it to a post-test with an evaluation, and you can offer credit and certificates for that more formal education as well. So just kind of repurposing that journal content in your learning system. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Another type of content being an interactive module. So this is a technically termed a SCORM presentation, but really what it is kind of like a movable PowerPoint where you can do challenges and work through you know, different interactions within this interactive module. A lot of times they have, you know, videos of people talking, and then they go through some interactions. So you can offer that within the system as well.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is this being authored, this challenge, for example, within the LMS or within an authoring tool somewhere else, and you're just bringing in the SCORM piece?
Yep. So in this example, this is authored in a third-party authoring tool like Articulate or, you know, any of those kind of SCORM builders that are out there. And we see a lot of associations that, have kind of this pile of SCORM packages, which is what this is, and then they want to offer those education, but maybe they want to supplement it or find ways to take the content out of there and make it a little bit more interactive in the system. But it's still worth utilizing those SCORM files, building interactive presentations, and putting them in your LMS.
I see. Okay.
All right. So another type of education that I mentioned was just offering discussion forums. We see these being used a lot in workshops, summits, some weekend events to really start to build a community around the education that you offer. It's important to kind of think through, those first posts as far as how you want to engage the conversation. But things like, what did you think about topic X, Y, Z, or, what might your research have led to in this area? As soon as people start to feel like they're a part of that community of education, they'll really come back and see the value that your organization provides to them that they can't get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then we have some of the more formal components of education, such as testing, which I'm not going to dive into all of the intricacies of testing, but evaluations as well, so that you can get feedback on how your education performs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the credit claiming experience. This is an area that we really differentiate in. About 60 to 70% of our customers are in the medical space, and it's really important there to be able to offer different types of credit for one course. So in this example, I could claim either CME credit or MOC credit. Those are just different credit types, but the same is true for things like the nursing associations. All of these accrediting bodies usually have different rules, and this system is very flexible for enabling that in the system so that you don't have to do a ton of manual administrative work on your side.
Yep.
And then the last component just being that certificate. So once I've taken the education, I can get dynamically awarded the certificate with my name, the type of credit, any other kind of accreditation information that you need to provide to them. And I can download this, I can print it, and then once I've earned it, it will always be available for me in that transcript. So as a user, I can go to my transcript at any time and see all of the education I've taken with your organization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is there any scenarios that exist in the industry where the individual isn't responsible for tracking the credits, but that you can just push them to an industry system to track the credits? Does that?
Yeah, great question. We do have an automated integration with PARS. So on that credit claim page, you can have it set up so that it will automatically, if it's MOC credit, it will automatically send that data to the ACCME PARS reporting system, which is an online database that if you offer MOC credits, you're required to report to. This requires that our system has information about your user, such as their date of birth and their ABIM ID. So there's, a couple different components to that integration, but it really automates the pushing of that information to a credentialing body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have you, in addition to PARS, is there other industries now that are advancing like the ACCME in doing that centrally, or do you find that it's much more decentralized, based on the association?
We have found it be more centralized over the last couple of years. I know we have direct integrations with the pharmacy credit types, so CPE is another one that there's two different credentialing bodies, I think BCOP and ACPE, all these acronyms. And then there's also CME Gateway. So there's kind of these groups that are popping up that we've seen more consistently that have APIs that allow us to do that automated integration.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's been really helpful.
Great. Pretty complicated stuff.
It does tend to get that way, but hopefully our goal is to uncomplicate it so that people can focus on building more education.
Great.
All right. So one of the things that I wanted to talk through as we kind of close up here in the demo from the user experience is just kind of looking at this from a learning ecosystem perspective. And I wanted to share the example of over the last year, seeing virtual events in the platform and what does that mean for 2021 and in the future. So I just wanted to talk through that because I think it shows a lot of the highlights of our system and the flexibility of our system in a very specific use case, but that hopefully can lead into a lot of different conversations. So I wanted to highlight some of the customers that we saw manage virtual events in CourseStage and how they did that. So without having to, implement a whole new platform last year, without having to, change the code in our system, we were able to support virtual events and enable our customers to do so on their own without even needing the help of our team as well. So this is just one example from the physician assistants. They offered they had a live event with some on-demand self-paced components as well that then awarded CME. And I think the key of this is thinking about, going into this year and next year, what were those smaller workshops or events that the value was in the education and the value was in the credit claiming, but not so much in like the in-person experience. Where can your organization offer those online while you still have obviously very valuable in-person experiences that you're going to offer and need to be offering, but where could you potentially save money so that you can refocus that revenue? This is just highlighting what we learned in 2020. So we had a huge improved social presence in online learning and networking events, things like the webcam just being vital to education success. And we love seeing that continue today. Breakout rooms, interaction via chat. Of course, there's the downsides of the Zoom fatigue and being in live sessions, but I think a lot more people are just comfortable learning online. And that really helps us as we continue to think about our education strategy in the future. A lot of the value being focused on credits is important in our space to show that you're offering accredited education and that you are a trusted expert. Now that you're competing with hundreds of other online tools and vendors and people out there, associations are in the unique position to be those SMEs and to show that they offer really valued education, and an accreditation is an important part of that, being accredited and offering accredited education. And then lastly, just having your subject matter experts up their game, teaching them how to present online, getting more out of your subject matter experts ahead of time so that you know that they're prepared when they show up to a live event, and thinking about engagement. We've seen a lot of improvement in this area over the last year. Mm-hmm. So how do we use that and take it into this year? We really want to work with our customers to expand their portfolio of virtual learning from, not just thinking about your annual conference, but those things I mentioned like workshops, specialty meetings, your board meeting, blended events that you offer, virtual instructor-led. There's a lot of different opportunities out there to utilize your learning systems in this kind of semi-live or truly live but virtual manner, and I don't think a lot of people considered before. So I think it opens up a whole new realm for us in the digital education space. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that forces us to embrace digital transformation on all levels and across all silos, which we've talked about. And then lastly, it just makes it easier both for your users to access and get those credits, take their evaluations, give you feedback, but also for your staff to create and manage events. If you can consolidate those experiences into one system without having to have a multitude of platforms.
Excellent.
Okay. So some of the key takeaways that I just wanted to point out before we end the presentation. Web Courseworks and CourseStage is really committed to the unique needs of professional education. I think I said this in the beginning, but we know that we're not going to be everything to every organization out there. So if what you heard today and the differentiators that we talked through really resonate with you, those are the types of organizations that we're super excited to work with and continue to innovate our platform with to grow in that space. We really emphasize and focus on consolidating your systems into one learning experience and help you on that kind of digital transformation journey. It definitely takes a lot of work. It's not a 4-week implementation process when you're consolidating 6 systems into one, but it's worth it in the end to offer your learners that very seamless experience with your organization.
Mm-hmm.
Having a very strong emphasis on integration is important, and from the beginning, thinking about what that tech stack looks like. It's not just an association management system or a CRM in your LMS anymore. There are data platforms, there are community platforms, there are a lot of great tools out there that we very much believe in the best of breed approach, and not one system can do it all. So make sure that you're thinking strategically about those systems that you select, and as long as they have experience with integrations, you'll be successful in making sure that user journey kind of maps through the whole process. Mm-hmm. And for our product specifically, we focus on growing it and creating features that are driven by the industry trends, but also by our customers. A lot of customers, I would say, select us and come to us because they know that you're not just getting a SaaS product. You have the ability to help us improve our product, create new features, things like that personalized learning plan. That's a collaboration with one of our customers. The PARS integration was a collaboration with another customer. So there are, we're an organization that will be listening to our customers, continuously wanting to innovate and add features to our product, but making sure that it actually meets the needs of our customers, not just something that we read online is important this year. So that's really I think where we differentiate in building that partnership with the organizations we work with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good stuff, Amber. Great summary. Let me ask you a quick question here. As you talked about the complexity of the ecosystem and the consolidation of multiple systems and the consolidation of multiple products, could you take just a minute and tell me about your service organization and what that looks like in terms of helping organizations first get implemented, integrated, configured, but then I guess what support you offer after that in terms of like content development or working with the virtual events? Could you just put a box around that for us on what you guys provide there?
Yes, great question. So a lot of our professional services are focused on that implementation. That takes the biggest amount of lift for an organization to think about the consolidation of different systems. What is your education strategy? We put a lot of emphasis into what we call the business analysis phase, but that's really just like your discovery phase. So we're not going to start configuring or building out our system until our experts have sat down with your team, understood your use cases, asked you those hard questions, documented everything, you sign off on it, and then we go to the build phase. So that discovery process is really vital, and that's where most of our professional services are around. We do also offer instructional design services for our customers. So if you have a specific program that right now was in person and you want to convert it into a virtual instructor-led, that would be one of our specialties in the instructional design arena. Mm-hmm. That form file that I showed you from the Planning Association that was built by our ISD team. And then we do offer virtual event services. So we have a team that focuses specifically on live events that are being hosted in our platform. And they do everything from building out the whole conference for you in your LMS, pre-recording sessions with your speakers. We have partners to help with, some like the video editing and stuff. Again, we're a best of breed organization, so we don't try to do it all, but we do have some excellent partners that we work with to help support you as well. And we're happy to work with your partners. Most associations have recording and digital partners that they already work with, so we tend to kind of do both depending on what the need of us, our customer.
Wow, great. Well, thanks for that. Great summary, and it's easy for me, and I'm sure the audience to see where you fit into the world in the the grand scheme of 1,000 different learning systems out there. You guys are focusing in on professional education organizations primarily associations, but also for-profit, selling content to individuals, to businesses or hospitals with individuals or health systems simultaneously, but at the same time, doing it at a much higher end. So, what we see a lot, from our perspective is organizations operating still continually in those silos. So, hearing your solution resonates with me of seeing silos and seeing those silos come down, for a consulting standpoint of bringing that together, but leading it with thought leadership and with the product and with the services to make that happen. That all that together is a pretty small but critical segment that most organizations can't play in. And so certainly see where your expertise is. And anybody listening here, I think Amber said it correctly. If it's resonating with you, you're in the right spot because if you have these problems, a lot of this conversation would seem very, very familiar, the things that you're dealing with. And so that's the goal here. So Amber, thanks so much for joining us today on the Executive Briefing Series and sharing about the business and about the solution and your impact and the future direction of where you're going. It's pretty exciting stuff, and I can just tell that you guys are operating in the right sector for your expertise, and I'm sure your customers appreciate that.
Thank you, John. It's been a pleasure to share with you, and I look forward to continued engagements.
Outstanding. Well, anybody has questions about Web Courseworks, you know how to find them right through our website or webcourseworks.com. Easy place to get it. And you can find more of our free resources at towntelearning.com. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.